preconceived thing led to Trump's big rally at Madison Square Garden. You're in New York, Lacey. You got tickets to that, right?
No, but I did have tickets to Cyndi Lauper right afterwards, and
Cindy won.
you know what? Rumor has it that she cleansed the space after him before she was willing to do her thing. And you know what? I'm kind of a hippie girl. Even before I'd heard that, I was like, hope Cindy sages that shit because she needs to clear out his juju, man.
Yeah, well, she needs to get his tanning makeup off the freaking stage. It's a lot of orange to clean. But
that's a lot of orange, man.
But here's the thing about this rally. It's actually a play on another rally that happened back in the 30s, 1939, I think it was. And, here's Lester Holt. He's going to tell you about it. And I'm going to be right back, but we'll play this.
Donald Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden comes days after his own former chief of staff went on record to describe his former boss as a fascist. But that jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place is particularly chilling because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally. A rally where speakers voiced anti-Semitic rhetoric from a stage draped with Nazi banners. When a Jewish protester rushed the stage, the Associated Press reported, quote, instantly, a dozen or more stormtroopers set upon him, knocking him down and beating him as he held his head in his arms. Most of his clothing was torn from his body. Later, he was booked for disorderly conduct. Now, against that backdrop of history, Donald Trump, the man who has threatened to use the military against opponents he calls enemies from within, who has threatened to use the troops to quell what he says are lawless cities, and to use those troops to carry out mass deportations of immigrants, is once again turning Madison Square Garden into a staging ground for extremism.
You cannot be heard.
Sorry, we'll cover more of this rally later in the show, but the thing about this rally that I think is interesting is he did all this stuff, and I think what happened was Stephen Miller, who's on his campaign team, who's a total racist, very anti-immigrant guy. Stephen Miller got up there and was like, hey, let's recreate the Bund rally at Madison Square Garden, and Trump was like, ooh, I'd love to fill Madison Square Garden, because he's not going to win New York. This was pointless, other than to try and recreate this. And it was horrific, because all they did was get up there and talk about how evil Kamala was. And what a piece of shit she was. I mean, that was literally the whole thing. So this is his big closing message. And he filled that Madison Square Garden, what is it, like 20,000 people that it holds, something like that? 18,000? But it was, yeah, I mean, it's all the people from Long Island, I'm pretty sure. But, because not a lot of Manhattan people going to see Trump. Not a lot of Brooklyn people going there. But yeah.
No, not unless it's to protest it.
Yeah. We'll get more into this a little bit later, but that's kind of what happened. Is I'm sure Stephen Miller's like, hey, let's redo the Bund rally at Madison Square Garden. And Trump's like, ooh, Madison Square Garden. Right? But it was bad. It was really bad. And we'll get into how bad it got in a little bit when we get the clips.